Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first episode, and maybe the last, depending on who gets offended, of Black Table Talk. I am Justin Riley, and with me is Julian Ty. You may recognize him from his OnlyFans and the other half of our viral video recently. And to keep us in line, Mr. Chris Parrish. What's going on, gentlemen?
Hello, world. Everything. How's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's good. Everybody's good.
Man, excited. The time has finally come to have our show. Anybody who is new to what we're talking about, listen, we're three guys who are talking about issues. We're going to do it in a respectful manner and step on your toes. So if you don't like getting your toes stepped on, maybe this program isn't for you.
It's not for you. It's not for you.
Might just cut your feet off. Just cut them off.
Just cut them all off. Yeah. Like Coach Prime recently had 2 of his toes removed. But anyway, this episode is brought to you by Todd's Terrific Turf, and we're going to learn a little bit about that at the end. Matter of fact, it's our cool little logo because we don't officially have a logo yet because right now we're working for free. So if you'd like to donate to our program, no, just kidding.
Just so we're clear, no one actually has an OnlyFans. Unless y'all got something you want to tell me.
Hey, listen, man, ain't nothing wrong with making a couple feet videos. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
Tax free, buddy. You don't have to fill out a W-9 or anything.
Oh, man.
All right. Well, guys, let's go ahead and get right into it. The first topic of discussion, I'm going to show a little video. This video was from Julian's TikTok and caused a little bit of controversy because after he had it up for a little bit and made his points respectively, TikTok took it down. So I'm going to introduce the reason for his video. I won't play the whole thing because he made some excellent points, and I'd like for him to make his points when it stops rolling. So here it is.
I think that black men go to white women because they're easy, they less work, all that other stuff.
They gotta go home and don't hear shit. Yeah, I get to walk all over them. They get to pay for everything. They get to pay for everything. Y'all get to cheat on them white women, and they know that they gonna stay with you. All that.
So, what I could understand from them as they were talking over each other and talking with their hands, that the only reason that black men want white women is because they don't have to put up with crap and that they're submissive and do whatever they're told. So, I'm going to let you run with this first, Julian, because you made the video.
Man,
let you lead off.
Let me say this, man. First of all, the sound of them trying to talk over each other, the act of them not listening, and seeing them having to physically explain themselves with their hands, with everything they say, like, that doesn't help you get your point across. Mm-hmm. I did catch a lot of flack from a lot of my black female friends when I got married to my wife. My wife is white, for people who don't know that. For those who know that, hey, my wife is listening. How you doing, baby? I ain't gonna say anything. Anyways, but I caught a lot of flack from my black female friends, more than my white male friends, more than my black friends, because the stereotype is that I decided to marry a white woman because a white woman is considered to be more submissive. And submissive is not in her character. Because I think a lot of times women confuse the term submission with just being a weak female. The one thing I did when I was looking for a wife is that I married the closest thing to my mother that I could, as far as how a woman is supposed to act, because I saw her be a great mother. I saw her be an excellent wife my entire life. So when it came time for me to pick a wife to be a mother of my kids, I looked for the same characteristics in my mother that I found in my wife. Now, it doesn't mean she's not stubborn, doesn't mean she's not pig-headed, doesn't mean she listens all the time, but those core qualities that I was looking for, I found in her. And the one thing I hate is that people do is sit there and stereotype someone saying, hey, well, you got a white wife because she's weak or because she's too submissive. Like, I don't think people understand the term submissive, and I don't think they really look and see, what those core values are that are important enough to be like, oh, okay, well, you married for love. You married because, you want to be respected. Like, there's nothing about being submissive that is attractive to me. First of all, I need a woman that can stand on her feet, and that's what I got. But I also don't need someone I can just push around, because once again, your wife has to have a backbone. I mean, she is your rock at the end of the day, and if you don't have anything to lean on, then you kind of messing up with that.
Well, when I hear the term submissive, I don't necessarily equate it to a negative thing. What I hear, especially in biblical terms, I look at it as a man or woman humbling themselves for the betterment of a relationship, to make a decision that's going to benefit both of them, their children, what have you, it's all for the greater good. So I think that term submissive is being loosely associated with, like you said, taking crap, being ran over, being taken advantage of, when it's not that way at all.
Being weak.
Yeah, right. Weak. Matter of fact, being submissive is a show of strength. At least I think so. Chris, what are your thoughts?
First of all, being submissive is an act of, to me, it shows that you're intelligent in a way, because I think we're all, like you just as alluded to, you're getting at. I mean, we all submit to a certain authority, and as men, we have the authority that we submit to, and wives come under that authority with us. And to go against that, to buck against that, it doesn't work out for the greater good. It doesn't work out for your personal greater good, because this dynamic is in place for a reason. So to equate being submissive with weakness, I take serious issue with that, because okay, now that you can't buck back against your husband, now what happens? How do we, what do we win? Now that you've gone and you showed him, what's the prize?
Yeah, right. And see, that's my thing, man, and that's why, like, my whole issue with the entire video is not just the aspect of someone thinking that a white woman is submissive, or that a black woman is angry, or that a black guy is a thug, or that a white guy is just some khaki wearing, Isaiah wearing, the version often that was portrayed in the 90s, because people are different. I mean, you can't look at someone who had a better, chance to, grow up in a better neighborhood and look at him as a black guy and be like, oh, you're some kind of Uncle Tom, because you don't have street cred, you're not black. Like, first of all, let me say this and be perfectly clear. I'm from Birmingham, from the west side of Birmingham, born and raised. It took me a very long time to be okay telling people that I'm from the west side of Birmingham, because of the stereotype that they would place on that as soon as I said it. Hey, where you from? I'm from Birmingham. Oh, okay, which part? Which part? Because when you ask somebody that, people say, oh, I'm from Pelham. That's not Birmingham. Oh, part? I'm from Centerpoint. That's not Birmingham. That's why they have two separate names. Where you from? Right. Oh, I'm from the west side. Oh, the west side? Didn't they make First 48 over there? Are all the episodes? Yes, that's where I'm from. But then with that stereotype came a negative connotation that I was what they saw on First 48. I'm a big black dude. I'm 6'1", 260. I got dreads. I either play football or I'm gonna rock somebody. And that's a stereotype that I hated. And for so long, I was ashamed to admit, hey, I'm from the west side of Birmingham, because someone's going to say, oh, you from the west side? Oh, man, golly, you must snatch persons. But I had to grow to be comfortable enough to say, hey, yeah, I'm from the west side of Birmingham. I defeated that stereotype. But then once that happens, you have people that give you a backhanded compliment. Oh, you from the west side of Birmingham? I would have never guessed. You speak so well, first of all.
Yeah.
Let me say this to all my brethren, all my white brethren that say that you speak so well. That is not a compliment.
Yeah. Top 10 list of things not to say to anybody.
Yeah.
And I try to give some people the benefit of the doubt, because they don't understand their compliment is not a compliment until they get a negative response from it. Because to me, I've been told that plenty of times. Like, it's one of those things that you work so hard to defeat. I told my wife before, I worked as a wife for 14 years. And I didn't really work around white people until I was out of high school. Like, so I'm 18, 19 years old, getting a job at the YMCA, and that's my first time working around white people. So once again, you walk into the building, you're getting a whole bunch of awkward stares, like, oh my gosh, like, where the hell is he from? I've even been in a place where I've gone to be a director at a job, and, I'm, one of the leadership members, and I hear another person on that leadership team say, oh my gosh, you see the new guy, you mean the black guy? Well, you know what that means? When one of them comes, here comes the rest. And it's something that you gotta, work through and still work with this person and not be pissed off at them. Like, how do you work with somebody? Hey, I heard you, right?
So let me ask. So we started the conversation talking about stereotypes in relation or in with relationships. So now we're moving to stereotypes in a societal aspect, as far as how just the general public may, the general public may receive you or look at you. So do we think these two things have a correlation? I would think the answer is probably yes, but what do y'all think?
Hey Justin, I'm gonna let you have this first. I'm gonna speak on it.
Man, yeah, it still has a correlation. I think it really shouldn't. I think a lot of the old archaic ways are still present today, and people are keeping it alive ridiculously. Just like one stereotype that I come across is, and I think I may have mentioned this in a text, is assumed racism. What I mean by that is people of your own color will come up to you and have a conversation putting down someone from another race. They assume just because you're white or just because you're black that you're cool with putting down another race and being racist. See, that's another stereotype. Listen, you don't know me. If you knew me, you would be having this conversation with me.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's one of the things I run into every day. It doesn't matter if I'm at work, doesn't matter if I'm somewhere else. People start making decisions, and even some of us have family members still living in that mindset. Who are living in rural towns of Mississippi, where the only way they can describe a man of color is using the N-word, and they think it's cool. They think it's all right. But it's not all right. I'm not living that way. But then you want to say this and live up to the stereotype, but then you claim Jesus as your savior. No, those two things don't come together. Those things don't work together.
Assume racism. That's interesting. That's an interesting way to put it. Assume racism. But go ahead, Julian.
Oh no, I was just saying, man, because kind of like Justin, like you can have those interactions on a daily basis. And see, my problem is that, how they're teaching the kids. Because if you ask a child right now, racism is slavery. So there's no more slavery. Oh, there's no more racism. Mm-hmm. And a lot of stereotypes like lead to that. I'm an avid WWE watcher. I love wrestling, but I found it odd how even in entertainment, stereotypes are portrayed. Because the great Eddie Guerrero, he came out of the lowrider. They even had some Mexicans one time come out riding a lawnmower. They had.
Look at the tag team Crime Time.
Oh man!
Like Crime Time dressed in white beaters, jeans, and bandanas with chains and gold teeth like around their neck. And see, my thing is like, there's nothing wrong with fashion, as you can see. Have a grill in my mouth right now, but I'm educated. But somebody can look at me and see this grill and think, oh, he don't know nothing. He's just as dumb as the rest. And you already assumed this stereotype without even, acknowledging, who I am as a person. And then, that leads into so many other things to circle back to like being in a relationship. One of the reasons is that I don't like stereotypes, and it played a huge part into who I decided to pick for my wife. Once again, I dated black females most of my life. I have nothing against black females. I love black females. I love white females. I love Asian. Like I don't have a preference. I can't say, hey, I don't like this nationality. I don't like this ethnicity. But one of the things I got is because I got a Chevy and I got a GMC. Both of them lifted about 6 inches, sitting on mud tires. A girl sees my truck. Oh man, you trying to be a white boy? As dark as I am. From Birmingham, I'm trying to be a white boy. No, I look at my truck and say, you know what? I'm not gonna put 24-inch rims on it and take the work out the truck because I can't use it. I like to go hunting, so if I want to go hunting, I'm gonna need something to crawl through the mud. Like that's why it's like that. I grew up. I had family down in Selma, Alabama. Down by Marengo, and like we went down there. We had farms down there. We had sugar cane. We had animals. So like growing up, working on the farm, working outside is natural to me. Once again, west of Birmingham. If you lived in 5 Points West, you watched the horses run through the street because there was a horse stable that was like right there behind the fairgrounds, and guys would ride horses up to the mall, up to the stripway, and that's what I grew up seeing. And I grew up like it. I wanted to be a cowboy. Like
at the end of the day,
I like everything outside. And so today, the black female who would look at me and say, "Oh, you're trying to be white." No, this is how I grew up. Like, I'm trying to portray nothing. And if you want to point fingers, the first Cowboys were black.
Yeah, true.
Fun fact.
I think it's funny is that you hear that, like you just said, you're trying to be. No, a lot of us who actually have our own minds and can think for ourselves want to be what we want to be. Not because a certain race portrays something, If that's what you want to do, man, that's you. That's you finding out who you are. And too often we allow society to label who we are, and we base a lot of times these young folks now are basing who they are on what's trending or what's popular, rather than like you and you, Chris, I'm sure, finding out who you are as an individual, doing that self-discovery.
Yeah. My take on like what you just said, to me, it's something wildly inappropriate. Just the fact that someone can watch another human being living and just have it in them, some entitlement in them to even speak on it to begin with. And we know like the culture nowadays especially in our corner of the world, this U.S. Country that we're in. There's a demographic in our country who you can't say nothing about, because you know what's going to happen to you if you do speak on them. They get to live free. And it ain't just one. It ain't just one demographic. It might be two or three, but the grace that they have to just live and be, that's something that we should all have. Number one, but number two, it's still, to me, is something that's in a person's mind to even see a person living how they want to live, ain't hurting nobody, and just go, oh, you're trying to be this or you're trying to be that, or you're dating this white woman because of this reason. Find you something to do.
That's the thing is, something to do. They don't know who they are. They get mad when they see you succeed at any level, and if that level is determining who you are, they hate that, because they don't know who they are. Just like these young ladies in this video here, they're mad because the white women are taking y'all from them. I got 2 points.
We free. That's the first point.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. When you say they are taking our men or women, you're implying there's some level of ownership. I'm sorry. Are you an NFL GM? I don't have a contract with you. And then two, how is someone being taken when they're willingly giving their heart to someone that they're in love with, or they want to build a life with? I don't think you as a black man wake up and say, you know what? I'm going to take every last white woman so I can put them in my collection. That's essentially what they're saying. And me as a white man, if I find a black female attractive, and there are plenty of these sisters out there, I'm all about that. It's because I want to pursue you from a godly perspective, for the purpose of being with a mate, not to fulfill whatever stereotype you may have, and thinking I'm stealing, or Julian or Chris, you are stealing. That's ridiculous.
It really is, man. And like, it's not only black females, man. I see a lot of it from a lot of white females as well, because one thing I see now, and I posted a video a little while back. Once again, I'm just against stereotypes, because they asked her what's one thing that she finds, in common with black men. And her statement was, all black men cheat.
Based on, she's a young woman. She surely hasn't had enough time to date every black man. So what's her sample size?
The bad thing about it is that a lot of these women make these negative connotations, and they've never dated a black guy in their life. Or they date a black guy, but let's date the bottom of the barrel. Let's get the worst possible guy I can find. Let me ignore the good ones, because he's not attractive. He's not dangerous enough. Let me get the worst possible guy I can find. Date him. He messes me over, and now you know what? All black men cheat, because this one guy that I found at the bottom of a BFI dumpster treated me like trash. What did you expect? Like, you did not see that coming? If you found him in the trash, what you think he gonna treat you like gold? And then they do this, and then next thing you know, it's on social media. So now here are other women with the same, that once again never dated anybody of their race, and they're making that same, that stereotype. And once again,
I got a question.
All right, what you got?
I got a question. At what point is there any responsibility put on the person who is choosing these people that they're dating? Because when does that happen? If I'm out here, if I'm choosing women from wherever I'm choosing them,
the strip club,
whatever type of characteristics and personality attributes they have, and I'm just picking the same ones over and over again. I know somebody at some point will say, Chris, why are you doing that? This is your fault. Why did you go? What did you see in her? Women get this thing where they can just do and date whoever and hey, nag the world about it. You can just nag the world, and the world's supposed to just be into the nagging. That you made bad decisions, and that somebody else is somebody else's responsibility. Even children know a good person from a bad person. How are you an adult and you don't understand how to choose a good person, to form a relationship with? I mean, and you do it over and over and over and over again with no responsibility being laid on you. Like,
first of all, sir, this is 2022. Accountability does not exist.
The hell is that?
Yeah.
What?
What is that?
Yeah,
What? That's what them old folks be talking about.
That's my fault. That's my fault.
I had a pastor once tell me, "Show me your friends, and I'll show you your future." And this can apply to who you choose relationally. So when you're going through these dogs, and yes, we realize not every man is like that, and there are some dogs out there who are doing that. But my question is, within your little sphere of influence or within your little circle that you're choosing to date within, what are those people like? Who do you keep choosing? Listen, I've met plenty of white girls that have lost their damn mind and can be ratchet as hell, and that can act any kind of way. That exists on both sides. I don't care who you are, but who are you choosing?
We'll see a girl like that and cross the street. Now a woman will see, let's just say the male version of whatever we want to, we don't typically use the word ratchet for guys, but the male version of that, just less than admirable group of men out there, and women will see those dudes and go over there.
Yeah.
We see the girls who don't exhibit the qualities that we want, and we go the other way. So at what point do we go, I'm not going to listen to you talk about all men ain't this and all men ain't that when you're choosing the ones you're choosing. And let me just I want to just say this. I think any well-meaning guy, and just probably person in general, we ain't out here looking for the best black or the best white. We're looking for the best mate. I think any man is looking for the best woman. We're not putting no stipulations on it other than that. So if a man has if he thinks that he's found that, so be it. Whatever color or race, ethnicity she is.
Yeah, and see, man, and not to harp all the women, man, because guys do the same thing too. Once again, I want to get away from the stereotype, because it's not always women that are choosing a horrible guy. Guys,
absolutely,
guys trash women too. Guys do trash women too.
Julian, how long were we in Birmingham together?
Woo! We've been there for a while.
Man, listen.
This is why it's called Black Table Talk. It's about to get dark. Go ahead.
Listen. How many bad decisions did I make the entire time you knew me while I was there?
Man, I love you. So I'm just gonna say a couple. A couple.
Yeah, you're being generous. This is politically incorrect. Say every damn last one you dated. But one of the most powerful things that you spoke to me, and this is us breathing life into each other, was the problem with what your choices are. You're trying to find the one in every one. That's huge. That's huge right there. And a lot of times we are trying to make everybody into a mate and ignoring the red flags that exist out there. And listen, I'm so tired of hearing people say, they weren't like that in the beginning. I'm just appalled. I'm shocked that this happened. That's BS, because I want you to take a journey back to the beginning of that relationship with that person did something that made you cringe. And I know as soon as I said that, everybody who's watching now and who's me watching the replay immediately thought back to that moment. That moment was God telling you, this doesn't line up with what you need to have in a mate. Doesn't mean that person's a bad person. Doesn't mean I'm speaking ill will of that person. That means it's not lining up for what God designed for you in that mate.
Right, man. And like, man, a lot of times, man, you have to acknowledge those red flags. Being in love or being in lust, and wherever you are in the stage of your relationship, like continue to make you ignore those red flags. I've been in that position before where I knew everything told me to leave this girl alone. Everything said, do not mess with her, leave her alone, don't bother her. We didn't listen. If you know who we are, he said, she ain't that bad. I said, okay. See, as you get older, you start to think up here a lot more. And thinking up here allows you to see those red flags. Too many people go into relationships or go into situations thinking with their heart because their expectation is to take somebody that's broken and to make them better. I ain't got time to be your therapist. I ain't got time to be your.
You're not called to do that, man.
No, you're gonna help your partner throughout life. Once you decide to spend your life with someone to get over certain things. But at the end of the day, a lot of stuff like you have to come into a relationship with fix yourself. Like you have to be happy yourself. You can't depend on getting into a relationship and someone making you happy. Like that's not gonna work. And and a lot of people look over that fact once again when they're choosing that one person and they realize that, oh, you know what, I can fix this person. Once again, here you go choosing from the bottom of the barrel. A lot of people undersell themselves for what they are or what they should deserve in a relationship. And they think, oh, this person's out of my league. Let me get this person. I can make them better. And as soon as you think like that, as soon as you think low of yourself, you're going to end up with that person that you're not happy with. You're not going to be happy with what you all have. And at the end, it's going to end. And once again, when people ignore that, that's where those bad decisions come from. And that's why I want people to understand it's not a black or white thing. It's very easy to play the race card now. It's very easy. You can do it on almost any situation. But every situation is not a race card playing situation.
Right.
Like sometimes the person you're dealing with is just, it's just a shit person. That's it. Like they are just not good for you. And once again, it has nothing to do with if it's a black female or a white male or whoever you decide to love. You have to do what's best for you. Like people really need to stop letting color matter. Because one thing I see a lot of, and I understand the perspective of it, a lot of people, hey man, black love is this, black love is this, black, hey, love is love. Right. Like once again, now I do understand people growing up having to be taught to love yourself because a lot of times, in TV growing up, like the black man was not always portrayed as, a formidable partner. They always showed the bad side or the worst side of, the black male. He's not a father at home. He abuses his kids. If he is there, he ain't there for long. Versus we're a long way from the Cliff Huxtables, the Philip Banks, come on, Family Matter. What's his name?
Carl Winslow.
Carl Winslow of the world, man. And those were the first shows of their time to actually portray a black dad in in a strong, nurturing environment. And so for people just starting to see that, then their mindset started to change. Well, a lot of that stuff is gone now. You try to bring it back, My Wife and Kids, you try to bring it back with just other sitcoms that just portrayed that black male role model, black figure in the household. But at the end of the day, once again, it doesn't matter if you're black, it doesn't matter white, it doesn't matter what your nationality is. Just be a good person. Stop being toxic. Stop going into a relationship knowing it's not going to work, but you're going to go and do it anyway. That's what's a relationship.
I think something that you just said, I think is probably, while there can be some positives, I think a lot of what you just said in relations to TV and entertainment, I think that alone is the contributor to a whole bunch of problems. And what I'm getting at is life should not imitate art.
Absolutely.
I don't care who you are. And once upon a time, years ago, we'll probably have to go back a long time and go, art imitated life. What you saw as far as in theater was a depiction of something that had happened in real life.
Right.
But moving forward, we have gone into this space where we see something on TV, therefore we should either copy it and that's a mindset I just can't agree with. I mean, but it does play a part. But my thing is that it shouldn't. Somebody should be doing the work to say, hey, what you're seeing on TV, look at it, and when it goes out, turn the TV off and you go to bed and you live a real life somewhere. You get what I'm saying? So taking these cues, while there could be some positives, don't get me wrong, but if we're learning everything that we're learning relationship wise, family dynamic wise, we in trouble. If we picking up stuff from TV and we're just infusing into our lives past a certain point, we in trouble. That's all I got to say on that. But I mean, I do get the sentiments though.
Yeah. So man, my whole thing, man, is that once again, I hate stereotypes because everybody is a walking stereotype, of whatever somebody else wants to classify them as. Like, once again, I've never been a person to say, hey, I don't like Asian women because of this. I don't like these kind of women because of this. Like, if people were able to like broaden their horizon and just stop ruling out someone because of, hey, of a specific reason, like there'll be a lot more love in this world. And this world is lacking that seriously. Like, people just need to be able to sit down and have a conversation. One of the things I love is watching my wife grow through this relationship, because there were a lot of things that, she is very pro, hey, Black Lives Matter. And when you say that, people all automatically think, all lives matter. That's not the response we're trying to get. That's not the message we're trying to send. For her, it was having a Black husband, it was having a Black son, that now things she wouldn't worry about. Now, if I'm out at night, she worries, hey, let me know when you make it. It's a point of just, hey, let me check up on you because I've seen what has happened. Like, she knows now if I make a joke, if I get pulled over and come, I'm gonna keep on driving until I get the 100 until I get the light. I'm not stopping and cutting by a state trip. Hey boy, what you doing? Like, and I'm trying to avoid that. But now she sees that. She understands, like, that's a genuine fear. And that's a fear that a lot of people cannot relate to because they don't have to deal with it. And with some people, if they don't have to deal with it, then it doesn't exist. And that's not true either.
Man. What is love?
Love is
what is love? That word tends to be thrown around quite a bit.
And I think a lot of people have the idea. They fall in love with the idea of falling in love, and they don't understand what all comes with that. Love is unconditional. Love sees no color. Love sees no limitations. Love sees no deformity. And you can keep on putting adjectives in there. It's loving someone. Loving someone means pouring life into them unconditionally, accepting them as they are, and in turn, that person pouring life into you as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I agree with that, man. And one thing is that a lot of people just believe, oh man, love at first sight. I don't believe in love at first sight. I think that's love, unless you have a child, love is conditional. I mean, like, it's hard to say that, hey, I love my wife unconditionally. Well, I love her unconditionally on the condition that she's a good mother, on the condition that she's a good wife. Like, you just can't say, I truly love this person no matter what, but they're not doing, what is expected of them in a relationship to make that love grow. Once again, if you don't nurture love, it dies. Exactly. Like, the same thing you do in a marriage, when you get into that marriage, you have to do it to keep that marriage. Like, you can't start doing one thing and then stop and be like, where'd the love go? It died. You didn't want to plan.
I agree with you on that. Love is very much conditional when you're talking about relationships, but we probably shouldn't even use the word love. We probably should use the word romance, because love and romance are two different things. Like, love is what you have between a parent and a child. That is unconditional. It'll never go anywhere. But love, as it relates between a husband and a wife, it's really what we're talking about. We're really talking about romance. Just that, butterfly feeling, that feel good feeling. Because when a man loves his wife, it ain't a whole lot of emotions that go along with that. It's duty. It's, I love my wife, therefore I go to work and I take care of my household. It's no, it's all about the work. It has nothing to do with emotions. So what a lot of people have an issue with, to me, is confusing love with romance. Yeah, obviously you want somebody to take care of you, as a woman, you want your man to take care of you, but then you want some romance as well. And that's really what we really should be talking about. You know what I'm saying? Because love, if the husband is doing his part as far as, your welfare, your well-being, and taking care of your needs, that's love. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. The absence of that is the absence of love. So I think, we have to sometimes separate the words that that we use when we're talking about relationships. That's to me that's the difference between love and romance. But we've gotten way far away from the original.
I tried to bring it back. And then you said where's love?
Stereotypes. Let's go.
I had somebody ask me the question the other day, or I heard the question being directed towards somebody who's close to me. What's wrong with being with someone who's strong? And a lot of times they often equate that to people like we saw earlier. They equate that to being strong. That being strong and trying to run over someone, trying to take over their lives, and for lack of a better term, being ratchet. That's two different things. You can be strong and knowing your identity, knowing your self-worth, and pursuing what you believe you are worth. And then if someone is taking life from you, someone is not, like you said, nurturing you, if it's compromising who you are spiritually, physically, emotionally, that's being strong. Being strong is being able to, walk away and say no. So I think that's two different things. Yes, I want a strong woman. I want strong friends around me who know their worth and aren't going to put up with just anything.
Yeah, man. But see, the problem is a lot of people confuse being strong with being dumb, tired, disrespectful, and once again, that's both men and women. Like we talked about the red flags earlier. First of all, if we're having a discussion, like we're grown, we can have a discussion without yelling. As soon as you start yelling, I'm done listening.
Right.
And the bad thing about that is that once again we go back to stereotypes. The stereotype of black women is that they're angry, and that's not true.
That's not true at all.
All black women are not angry. They're not. Like a lot of women in general feel like they're being pushed over. And once again, this goes back to the kind of man that you pick for yourself.
Right.
If you pick the kind of guy who is going to run over you and not let you talk, thus you feel like you have to yell, then then you're going to feel disrespected. You're going to feel like, well, you know what? I don't need a man. I can do this by myself. But then again, you go back and you try for the man who respects you and listens, and then you try to overtalk him. You try to get loud. You push that shouldn't be pushed. One thing I believe, and I applaud. The only thing I can relate this with my wife. I applaud my wife too is not being the one that's gonna push your buttons. Like I can't stand for a female, and I will say this: I can't stand for a female to put herself in the place of a male. And by that, what I mean is, you guys are having a dispute. You're arguing. First of all, we can have a discussion. We don't have to yell. Secondly, in no way, form, or fashion should you put yourself in the place of a male. In other words, in a way to get hit. I'm not encouraging, nor do I endorse domestic violence, but there's no way in hell these women can allow themselves to get in guys' faces, put their hands on them, and then turn around and get hit, and then they turn around and play the victim and say, "Oh my gosh, how could he do this to me?"
Like talking about being aggressive, being physically or emotionally aggressive.
Yeah, because see, once again, there's a difference. A submissive woman respects her husband enough to not put herself in that position. And once again, that doesn't make you weak. That makes you strong. And as soon as a lot of women and a lot of people realize that submission is not a form of weakness, but yet a form of strength, like they would do better in relationships. Once again, the fact that my wife or that I can sit there and have a conversation and feel like, both of our words, is being respected, that's a strength thing. So it gives me the time to be like, when she says something, okay, babe, that's what you want. I'm fine with that. Because you know why? When I tell her something and she said, babe, that's what you want, I'm fine with that. It's give and take. It's not going to always be take, take, take. It's not going to always be give, give, give. You have to pick the partner that's right for you, but you can't do that if you continue to stereotype every single person based off what you see and not what you know.
But like you just said, we at some point you have to recognize the benefits, the pros and the cons. What are the pros for behaving like you just talked about, being submissive? There's a long list of benefits that come along with following that.
Respect being the biggest one.
Now, show me the list of benefits that come along with being the ornery, aggressive, over the top, just disrespect. What's the benefit to say you did it?
To get the last word,
right? What's the benefit? How are we? Tell me.
And see, man, the thing about that, there's no benefit with that, male or female.
Right, exactly. And I'm not trying to pick on those girls earlier, but my first question is when I see that, one, who is teaching them to hate? Because a lot for a lot of people,
lesbians.
It's just generally. It's sorry. What?
Lesbians. That's
okay. Oh well. A lot of people
some. Let's not categorize. That's not categorized.
We're not stereotyping.
Go ahead, Justin.
I was saying a lot of people have generational, stereotypes, generational hate that's put into their hearts. But then too, when I hear what's being said in their voices too, maybe there's some hurt because of unresolved past when somebody did them wrong and they never healed from it.
Man, and that's really what it is, man. Because like you said, it's generational. If you had a mother who was, done wrong in her relationship, thus, dad left because of whatever reason, and she had to raise you by herself. A lot of times, it's hard for people to not put their grief on their kids. The mom is mad at the dad.
That's jacked up.
I'm gonna raise my daughter to be independent.
Nope, you don't need
me. I can make this without you. I don't need you to do this. You don't need a man to do this. You can do anything you want to without a man. And thus now you have another female who comes into life looking at guys already expecting them to do what their father did to their mother. Even though the dad could be trying to be a great dad to the child. Him and mom didn't get along, but now mom talks bad about him. And now the daughter hears that, and now that's her outlook on men. Now she thinks every man is going to do what he did, and thus he carries that baggage into a relationship. And here we go. Guess what? That's neither a black nor a white thing. Mm-hmm. That is a person thing, because guys do the same thing to their sons. Their son, they talk bad about they talk bad about the wife. The wife leaves, mom is not there for whatever reason, and now you have a son who's a womanizer. Now you have a son who has trust issues with every woman that he meets. Like we have to do better as a society. We have to do better with raising our kids. Like we can't put our negative beliefs on our kids. Like they have to live their own lives. Like if they're gonna mess up, let them mess up. Let them grow from their mistake, but not from ours.
And you also made a powerful point in that too, as far as I don't need no man, I don't need no woman. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Because to say you need a man or you need a woman to complete you is one of the biggest mistakes you can make. Your identity is not found in that man or that woman. Your identity is found in God.
Exactly.
Those people are brought into your life as a complement to your stability and to do life with.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, you can be independent. There's a big difference there. But don't spew hate because of what you were generationally taught.
And see, man, and that is where a lot of people have problems, man. One thing that I had to get over with my relationship personally is that my wife, her dad once again, Justin, he's from the great state of Mississippi.
I claim Birmingham. I still claim Birmingham. When anybody asks me, "Hey, where are you from?" I'm from Birmingham. I was on South Side.
Yeah, man. But he stopped talking to her, stopped communicating with her after a lengthy relationship because she decided to date me, a black male.
Right.
And I never had any hate towards him for it. I felt sorry for him because if that's what you're going to use to write, like, once again, we talk about unconditional love. That's what you're going to use to write off your daughter because let me tell you right now, I don't care who my daughter chooses to love, black, white, male or female. I'm not going to write you off because I'm going to say, oh, you choose to love this person. That's not what I approve of. I don't want anything to do with it. That's not how you raise a family. That's not how you break generational curses. That's not how you break generational
curses.
But like once again, we have to do better. Like that same ideology that was taught back 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago, like we can't put that on our kids. We're raising kids at a very dangerous time. And honestly, I'm nervous raising my son. I'm nervous raising my daughters just because of, what they have access to. And, I don't want them to have the thought processes that people of yesteryear had. I'm not going to tell them, hey, I don't like this group of people because of this. If they grow up and they decide, hey, I don't like this person, it's going to be because of something that this person personally did to them, not because of something I taught them. One question my wife asked me is that she asked me, well, with everything, racial going on, how can you teach your son not to be angry, if, he's confronted with a situation, involving the color of his skin? I said, I can't teach him not to be angry. I said, I'm learning how not to be angry because, when you encounter different things, it determines how you, pretty much how you handle it, how you carry on as a man. The best thing I can do is prepare him for those situations. I'm not going to say every white person you meet is racist because once again, there's that stereotype. I'm not about that. Some of my closest friends are white. How you doing, bro? Some of my closest friends
I'm
are
Irish, by the way. I'm Irish.
So I'm not going to tell him, but all the policemen are bad. All the policemen are going to kill you.
Right.
I believe what I believe based on my experiences, but I'm going to share my experiences with him. But I'm going to tell him everybody's not like that. Like there are good people in the world, and then there are assholes. An asshole is an asshole, whether you're black or white. Like if that's what you are, that's what you are. But I'm not going to pass that I went through for him to go through as well.
I don't know if you heard and what you said. The reason why they're going to be okay. It's because you're building a foundation for them right there by teaching them how to deal with things, how to treat people, how to love people. And so they're going to know. And are they going to still be bombarded by their peers? Yeah. Are they still going to be bombarded by social media? Hell yeah, and probably 100 times more than what they're being bombarded with now.
Social media too.
But because they have those roots, that foundation built from you, built from your wife, built from a love with Jesus Christ, they're going to be fine and know how to combat those situations.
Mm-hmm. I think at the root, at the base of all of these issues, one single thing that could perhaps iron out some of the problems is we have to become result oriented. And what I mean by that is, as a parent, you're raising a child. Before you make that decision to place your pain on that child, what's going to be the result of that? Think about it, because you probably wouldn't do it. Or if you're a man who's in a relationship or a woman who's in a relationship, before you say what you're going to say to your spouse, or before you're going to do what you're going to do towards your spouse, what's going to be the result of that? How is it going to contribute to the overall health and welfare of your relationship? I mean, we can go on on a lot of different categories, but being result oriented, you just wouldn't do some of this stuff that we see. You just wouldn't say to a person who's dating a black man who's dating a white woman, oh, he's only doing that because for what? Now that you said that, what happened? He's living his life, okay, and now you just sound like you bitter It's just there's just so much.
There are people out there that who will specifically do that, but that's the minority, not the majority. And I mean, there, like I said, in every situation, there are dogs out there. There are bad people who are actually doing this.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Yeah. So, man, I hope, man, that as we continue to do these things, man, I want to touch on subjects, man, that people are uncomfortable talking about. Stereotypes. People are uncomfortable talking about stereotypes. People are uncomfortable saying that like we really got to do better as a whole. It's things that need to be discussed. Things need to be out there. I implore people, man. Hey, hey, hit us with your questions. Like, give us topics to discuss. Like, but I guarantee, I'm not gonna hold back. I'm gonna say, what needs to be said. I'm gonna say the truth. I'm gonna tell you my opinion. But we as a whole have to learn to stop stereotyping people. Like, if it's one thing that's pet peeve, it's a stereotype, because I can't stand when people automatically assume because I'm black I can dance. Can I dance?
Yes. I was about to say, yeah, you can dance.
I don't want to be
Well, I'm tired of the stereotype that people think that I can always describe what the tornado sounds like. I listen to Garth Brooks, and I like to jump out of airplanes.
Some of the best things that happen, man, and what people really need to do, man, is that I hope we get back to a lot of people making music with messages and get away
that's huge.
This mumble bull crap we keep hearing today, and people taking Xanaxes and Percocets and dying off of them. Like that's not music. Things that I know that help people could like kind of cross over, but kind of blended it. Like for me, I'm not gonna lie. When Nelly came out with Over and Over Again, I knew I like country music.
Who didn't love that song? That song was dope.
Put my hat on, tuck my jeans inside my boots, put my fingers inside my belt loose and hike my pants up. I'm gonna get that. Because see, man, I don't just like, it's either look at me and you're gonna once again hear the stereotype, oh, he likes rap music. That's all. No, believe it or not, I like Broadway. I like opera. I like classical. I like
Cyrus.
Rap. I like R&B. I like
Miley Cyrus.
Miley Cyrus. Boy. I like, but like looking at me, you can't tell that by just your eyesight and your judgment. I think of a lot of people who are willing to sit down and have the uncomfortable conversations, or just sit down and have the conversation with like some of your closest friends. Because I love it when one of my closest white friends asks me, "Hey, look, I don't mean to be offensive, but I like that deal."
Yeah, like look around.
And then they do that. They leave me for their question. Look, man, like I'm an open book. I'm not offended. Like whenever you ask me a question, there's no offense given and there's none taken. As long as you're asking in a respectful manner. Like don't get loose with the word. Hey, Chris, we ain't got no fences here, dude.
About the gun line.
Hey, we ain't got no
gun line. That's an inside joke from the movie Life. In case anybody out there wondering what he meant by it.
Hey, let me tell you something. If they over 25, they know what that means.
Man, and I talk to a lot of young folks, and I make those references. Man, they look lost as all get out. I'm like, who is raising you? Right. For you not to know who that movie, good gosh. Man, I actually ran into a young person who didn't know who Prince was.
Okay.
Boy, wait. Hold on. I just been called in the sorrow.
Wait a minute.
Boy. So man, I do hope we reach a lot of people with these videos, man. Us very close friends, man. It makes it easy to have these conversations. But I have other friends, man. And I wish they would sit down and just, ask my perspective. Let me hear yours, because from that you will get a better understanding. I'm finishing one of my degrees, and one of the classes my wife is taking is theories of oppression. And so, just based off of her reading, She's seeing a lot more from, just different aspects. What oppression is. A lot of people feel like this. Is it really systemic? What has been done in the past? Just things like that you would not know unless you read and found out for yourself.
Right.
Because for the younger generation, racism is not slavery. So don't just sit there and think that because there is no slavery, there is no racism. A lot of people are still prejudiced out here. A lot of people still have those same thoughts and processes. I don't know if you ever seen the movie. What was the movie? Michael B. Jordan had Jamie Foxx in it.
Now I just watched that. That was Have Mercy.
Have Mercy.
That was a great movie. A powerful movie.
The sheriff from that movie, because the sheriff was the one who put him in jail and got him put there for life. Almost got him killed. Do you know that sheriff just retired in 2019?
What?
Let that sink in. That sheriff just retired. This Limestone County. That's right outside of Madison. That sheriff just retired in 2019. So ask yourself, how many people under his jurisdiction, under him, believe and think the same way that he does? Just think about that. And a lot of people don't realize, once again, racism is slavery. So this stuff they haven't, they make a movie about from the 1980s. Oh, that was 1980, whatever. They don't have it anymore. Yeah, he just retired 3 years ago. Don't forget about that. Hey, fun facts.
Wow. Man.
Dropping gems tonight.
Hey, man, that's what I'm here for.
That was powerful.
Dropping gems in the gym.
But yeah, I mean, this every week. So if you have a topic like Julian said to discuss and needs to be brought to the table, man, by all means, please do so. Matter of fact, I'm going to turn it over to you guys. How can people find you on social media, email, if they want to get in contact with you guys? What way? I'll start with you, Julian.
Look down right there. That's Mr. DYDC. Find me on TikTok. Find me on Instagram. I'm there. That's Mr. MRDYDC. Ain't nobody else like me, so you can't give me my username misconstrued. Oh, my bad. Excuse me. Local Huntsville area. Do you need your lawn service? Are you looking for greener pasture? Well, let me tell you something. At Todd's Turf, the grass is always green on the other side. And we serve the Lord. You see them 3 crosses. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Mr. DYDC, Twitter, Instagram. Follow me there, TikTok. I'm there too.
All right. Chris, what you got, man?
Hard to follow that up, man.
All right.
Hey, Instagram, Mr. C.A. Parrish. Y'all see the spelling. Parrish. Mr. C.A. Parrish. That's it.
That's what's up. All right. What?
I'm gonna get him on TikTok. That's my plan. I'm gonna get Chris on TikTok. Justin is already there. We're gonna take this because I want more people to have access to our discussions. All my older people out there, let me tell you this. I know you don't have a TikTok. If you do, you only use just a scroll. There's a lot of information on there. There's a lot of advertising on there. And they have some recipes. I have to make some honey garlic, sriracha chicken fingers. Got the recipe off TikTok. I'm just saying it's there. Hey, use it. They're going to be here 2 years.
Dude, those nachos that you made, dude.
Oh, man.
Nacho mama nacho.
Nacho, I ain't going to lie. That's a Julia title original. Holla at your boy.
One thing I gotta put into this episode. We've talked about a lot of stuff. We come at you at you heavy. Well, I got to put a little bit of comedy into it. So who better than to do that than my boy Steve Brown, who is one of my co-hosts on the Bama Standard.
I'm at home listening to Joel Osteen and thanking God for all these new clothes I stole from the laundromat. Minding my business. I get done and go online, and I see this. Nick, what kind of big hair bootleg bishop buffoonery is going on here? You need to put that Taliban turban back on. You look a mess. You look like a gospel quartet singer that will tear a church up, but you still sell reefer. You look like your breath stank, but you keep a pocket full of peppermints. You look like you should have a name of a bootleg preacher. Reverend Wrongdoer, Pastor Pimperhole, Deacon Do-Wrong, Deacon Soul Shoulders, Reverend Holy Ghost Waters. Nick, you look like you want to say, turn to your neighbor. I'm not going to be very long. It's offering time. Won't you give? You look like you ain't even got a sermon. You look like you just go to church and holler. Yeah. Yes, he did.
Had to inject that.
We gotta get Steve on here.
Oh, he'll be happy to do it, man. He'll be happy to join the discussions.
Y'all, we got to invite a lady on at some point. We got to get the other perspective. Why not?
We will. But I wanted to have the fellows on tonight for our inaugural show, see how people respond to us. But absolutely, we got plenty of topics where we definitely need to hear the female perspective, and we're not equipped to do it. So, but yeah, everybody tune in next week. We appreciate you, and we're out.